Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Gianluca Masi speaking on the behalf of the Virtual Telescope Project, and it's a big pleasure for me to be here tonight live from Rome, Italy, ready to share with you once again something happening right now in the night sky. Those of you joining this feed are here waiting to see in real time the object we want to share tonight, the Asteroid 2025 QD8, the near-Earth asteroid which has been discovered a few days ago, and the weather is favorable, even if it is a bit borderline with likely strong winds at the observatory observing site. So anyway, we are ready to start, and again I want to thank all of you for joining. I also want to thank the technological partners of the Virtual Telescope Project. They are Software Bisq, C-Web and Telescope Live. The Virtual Telescope Project has been around now for 19 years, bringing to you the most spectacular events ever. Every time a bright comet, a close approaching asteroid, a lunar or solar eclipse, a meteor shower, every time something special happening up there in the sky is ready to amaze us, the Virtual Telescope Project is always ready to bring those wonderful things to you, reaching you at the comfort of your home, because we are exploiting the capabilities of the internet to share the beautiful universe where we live. That said, my friend, I want to start sharing with you the console of our observing telescope, our telescope, sorry. Just give me a couple of minutes to check that everything is up and running. I mean, it's everything is ready, I must say. So let me. Okay, we are ready to go, and this is the console controlling the telescope. I'm sharing with you the screen of the computer controlling the telescope. I am sitting at my desk in Rome, in Italy. The telescopes are about 120 kilometers north from my city, under very good skies, and this is the system controlling the telescope. You see basically a star map, and you have some crosshairs there. You can see it not just below the center of the screen. You can see there, as you can see, a yellow crosshair. That is where the telescope is pointing. I already took care to slew the telescope to the right place. So I now start taking images, so we start seeing the asteroid, and then I will tell you a bit more about it. As you know, asteroids are very precious objects around, orbiting around the Sun with the Earth and the other planets, and they are the remnants, the most pristine material left after the formation of our solar system. So dating back almost of 5 billion years. So asteroids are such a precious resource every time you want to learn about the very ancient history of our little corner in the universe. But it just happens from time to time that an asteroid can come pretty close to our planet and eventually eating our planet. So this scenario is remote but not impossible, and from time to time actually asteroids have been seen entering the atmosphere and also reaching the ground. Also in the recent years, maybe you remember a few years ago, the Chelyabinsk meteor over Russia, when a small object just exploded in the atmosphere. So that is not science fiction, that is science, and these things can happen This can happen. This is why astronomers are just monitoring the night sky, looking for asteroids to hopefully spot any object going to approaching our planet, and that is evaluating every time we discover a new one the chances it has to reach and impact our planet. And luckily enough, this is not happening so often, and we are also developing many strategies to in case to mitigate this risk, and this is where planetary defense comes into action. Now I just asked the telescope to take an image, and the image is basically done. The telescope collected the light from the right spot of the sky where the asteroid is for 2 minutes, and now here it is. And this is our first image, my friends, and this is the asteroid we wanted to share with you. Look here at the very center, you see a dot of light. That is our asteroid 2025 QD8. This one approaching our planet. It is coming basically well inside the lunar orbit. This is absolutely safe close encounter, but still spectacular. The minimum distance will be reached in about 12 hours by now, 218,000 kilometers, 57% the average lunar distance, so I would say 50% more or less, half of the lunar distance, so still a lot, but not that much in astronomical sense. And this dot is the asteroid. Why it is a dot, and why there are so many trails, so many streets all around? Because being that close, the asteroid is moving pretty fast in the night sky against the stars, and I asked to our advanced telescope to actually track this object. So while the telescope is collecting light, this is the meaning of this, we are just also tracking the asteroid, so the stars are apparently moving on the background. If I track the stars, which is typical when you take a typical astrophotography, the asteroid will look like a dot. Then I will try also to share that if you want. Always keeping an eye on the weather, because I really don't want the strong wind will make troubles. I also would like to share with you another thing, if you don't mind. Okay, let me see if I can share with you this. Okay, I want to share with you if I can. Okay, I succeeded, I think. This is the telescope, my friends, we are using right now. This image is coming live from my remote observatory, and you can take note of the date and time on the bottom. It's of course related to Italy. So I hope this will add something to the experience, my friends. Back now to the asteroid. So, as I said, this object, asteroid, the near-Earth asteroid 2025, as I said, this object is approaching us, 2025 QD8, and it's a small object because the size has been estimated to sit somewhere between 17 and 38 meters. I want to thank my colleagues at JPL NASA for making all these very important calculations for the international community. So this small object has been discovered on 26th of August, so a few days ago, and announced a couple of days later. As I said, its size is estimated between 17 and 38 meters. It is small, but not that small, and I anticipated that it will reach its flyby, the minimum distance from our planet, in about, I would say, let me say 14 hours by now, more or less, when it will be at 218,000 kilometers from the Earth, 57% of the average lunar distance. Every new image is showing the asteroid in a different position against the star trails. I would like to share with you a little insight to make possible for you to understand what is happening. As I said, we are taking live images of this object. The object is faint. I think you are not impressed to learn that. When you take images of astronomical objects, you have to prepare yourself to take long exposures. It is like taking a picture at night. You have to collect light with a long exposure, enough light to have enough signal, a good image. There are some exceptions like the moon, the bright planets. Taking an image of those bright objects is like taking an image on our planet in broad daylight. But at night, things are very different. So in order to capture an image of a faint object, you have to take a long exposure. As I said, I am using here 2 minutes 120 seconds. And in fact, here the system is just running a countdown, started at 0 and ending at the end of the exposure, that is after 120 seconds. So in other words, we are exposing for 2 minutes. And after the exposure is done, the image is downloaded from the digital camera, our digital AI installed on the telescope, and showed on our computer. This will happen in a few seconds. The exposure is ending now. Now there is a downloading from the camera to the computer, and then the new image is displayed. And you can see image after image, there is a little shift. Right now the asteroid is projecting itself against those two close streaks. If I show you the previous image, here it is, and the last one, perhaps things are much more apparent. I want to underline that the asteroid is this dot of light, my friends, the one you see in the very center, my friends. I want to check also the distance of this object right now in order to give you the right amount. As I said, I am obsessed by the idea to provide our friends joining our live feeds with the up-to-date data. So right now we are September 2, 23 Universal Time. Here it is. And while I am speaking to you, my friends, this object is at 750,000 kilometers from us. It is still outside the lunar orbit. As I said, it will be at the minimum distance in 14 hours from now, and that time is enough for it to come significantly closer. So while we are observing it right now, I repeat, it is at 750,000 kilometers from us. Keep in mind that the moon is on average on a bit less than 400,000 kilometers. So right now the object is outside the lunar orbit, just to give you a better idea. So we need to change the position of the telescope because we are crossing the meridian. Here we are, and let me do this right away, my friends. Okay, so I will resume. By the way, I will take this opportunity to share with you the telescope moving, if you don't mind. Okay. here we are. Look how the telescope now will move. And let me see also if I can adjust things here. Look, hopefully here you can see both the telescope moving and also the yellow crosshair moving across the star map, because the telescope is moving, so the pointing in the sky is changing, and the goal here is to reach the red crosshair where the destination is. It is funny to share also this typical maneuver. You are basically living some astronomer experience now. So here we are. Okay, now let me ask our system to point the asteroid. So we are approaching. The yellow is now on the red. It means we are there, my friends. Now I will just take a quick check image, and then I will resume imaging. Keep in mind that an asteroid, as seen from a telescope, is always a dot of light, because it is small. As I say, this one is around 25 meters, more or less, as I said, and it is right now it is farther than our moon, so no matter the telescope you see a dot of light. But the magic here is that we are seeing in real time and we are tracking it, beautifully tracking it. It is not obvious for a telescope to track a near Earth object while it is not far from the minimum distance and apparently moving pretty fast in the night sky. This is an advanced capability that we are proud to provide to our friends, those actually joining our live feeds. Now it is time for me to resume observing, and as you can see now, we started at 120 second exposure and the countdown has started, and second after second we will reach the end of the exposure time, and as I explained earlier, at the very end the new image will show. I see friends joining from different regions of the world, and I'm happy for this because the Virtual Telescope project has been a platform at actually promoting interactions between different people from different areas, different cultures. So we have been doing this for more than 19 years now, and I also want to thank the many international media which have been featuring us over such a long time, making possible for people out there just learning about this opportunity. As you see, we are offering this for free. We will never ask for money to the people to join and enjoy the universe where they live, but still we need to survive. So if you want, you can support us, you can contribute to our project, just visiting www.virtualtelescope.eu/donate. I will try to put this on the chat if you want. Because for us, in order to survive, we really need to cover the bills and so on. So feel free to consider supporting us. While we are speaking, this object is still safely approaching us. As I said, right now this object is about 750,000 kilometers from us outside the lunar orbit, but it will come almost at half the lunar distance in about 14 hours by now, my friends. This object is relatively small. Its size is very likely around 25 meters. Not too much different from the object which originated the Chelyabinsk event a few years ago. An event maybe you are aware of. So happy that we are performing, our system is performing so beautifully. Here it is, our first image. The asteroid is beautifully tracked, as you can see, the very sharp dot of light in the center. And we are tracking it, so the telescope is moving during the exposure in order to keep the target in the very center, in the crosshair, I would say, and as a result, the stars all around are leaving those long trails. The trails are long because the object, as I said several times now, is moving relatively fast. I want to take also, after the new image, I want to take another image without tracking on the asteroid, but tracking on the stars, and you will see very likely the trail of the asteroid. Just to give you, to offer you the different point of view. I think that this could be interesting. I want to really thank all of you joining. Right now, our asteroid, I want to show you where the asteroid is right now. Here it is. Perhaps you can also recognize some famous constellations. The zodiacal constellations, Capricornus, Aquarius, Pisces, and so on. And we are exactly there where you see the red and yellow crosshairs. Back to our image. So happy to see people from different regions of our beautiful planet, as I said. And after this new exposure, I want to try, as I said, to reverse things. I will track at the typical rate, that is, I will track the stars, that is, I will track at the rotation, at the rate, a rotation rate of our planet. This is why we see the stars apparently moving, because it is our planet rotating. In other words, a telescope is just working to compensate for the Earth rotation, but here we are compensating not only for the Earth rotation, but also taking into account the personal, peculiar apparent motion of the asteroid. Now, I want to simply ask to our system to track the stars. So let me do this. Okay. Now I will take an image, a 2-minute exposure, without tracking the asteroid. And let's see what will happen. It's a nice experiment, I believe. By the way, my friends, we will be sharing live the upcoming lunar eclipse, a total one, visible from Italy. So if you want, take note, September the 7th, visit virtualtelescope.eu to learn details. And as I said, it will be, as always, free to join. If you like what we are doing, please consider supporting us. Visit www.virtualtelescope.eu/donate. This way you will contribute to keep our project alive. We've been around for almost 20 years now, gaining such a legendary reputation. This is why we are so well considered by the most important media around the planet. We are not asking for money to join these live feeds, to have the opportunity to spy these incredible things. But here we need your support to keep this project alive. We will never ask for money to the people to join, but keep in mind that running such a truly advanced telescope is not cheap, and it's a kind of sacrifice for me to keep this project alive. But I love sharing knowledge. I love sharing awareness of our beautiful cosmos. This is why I face this effort. But if you can contribute, if you want to contribute, please do. www.virtualtelescope.eu/donate. And look now what I said. This is a beautiful, bright demonstration, I believe. Now that the telescope is tracking the stars, the asteroid is leaving its streak. I hope that you appreciate this new point of view, my friends. So happy. Now let's wait for another image coming. My very pleasure. As an astronomer, I really love to exploit these opportunities to share with you some aspects of our life, I mean, under the stars. Soon we are having the next image, again a trail. So nice, my friends, seeing the object leaving this way. And the relative speed of this object relative to the Earth is about 13 kilometers per second. I hope you are appreciating this opportunity, And thank you for your consideration and for your time. Well, it's normal to see the trail that way because basically you are taking an image of a bright object which is slowly moving in front of you. So the final result will be a short, bright line, exactly what you would expect. It could happen that, of course, the asteroid is rotating, and if its shape is irregular, the amount of light it is reflecting to us is just varying while it is rotating. So in some special cases you could see a trail with a different brightness, a changing brightness along the trail, just meaning that the object is rotating, which is every asteroid is rotating. But when you see that the trail is showing variable brightness, it just means that the shape of the object is so extreme that the amount of light you are receiving is changing dramatically to the point that you can easily have that evidence from the trail. So nice, my friends, to see these things together. I'm amazed to see that the technology is making possible to enjoy this experience together. 15 years ago, this was basically impossible. The Virtual Telescope project really pioneered this field. We have been really pioneering the field of real-time astronomy online, and I'm very proud that this has been done basically without any financial support. Everything has been done thanks to many efforts from myself and thanks to a few people over these almost 20 years supporting our project by small donations. If you want to be one of them, you can support us right now. Just visit www.virtualtelescope.eu/donate. So happy every time I share the cosmos I love with people around the planet. So I think we are going to close this live feed shortly. We have been able to track beautifully the near-Earth asteroid 2025 QD8, coming significantly closer than the Moon in about 14 hours, when it will be at 218,000 kilometers from us, a bit more than 50% of the average lunar distance. Yes, it's my pleasure to share our technology with curious people around the planet, and as I said, we have been doing this for 20 years, and perhaps this long time is telling how much obsessed we are with the idea to do this. I think everyone should know how beautiful, how incredible our universe is. This will make our planet a better world, I'm pretty sure. And this is why we are doing our very little part in this. So I want to thank you for joining, because by joining our live feeds, you are contributing to this little project that is spreading evidence of the beautiful cosmos around. And this, as I said, very likely has the power to improve the quality of our world and the relationship between us. So thank you very much. Well, I'm going to close this, because after all we had 40 minutes of live feed, and there are other things I have to do here, part of my astrophysical job. So it was a pleasure to share these 40 minutes, but now my duties are calling, so the real astronomical life is calling me, and this is why I'm just going to close this. And I hope you had fun. I hope you will be joining again. As I said, a big event is coming next Sunday, the total lunar eclipse, and we will be sharing it in real time. So be sure to join us again. And as I said, it will be free. If you want, you can contribute to our mission visiting www.virtualtelescope.eu/donate. This way, we will be also able to organize more and more, covering costs to organize this kind of live events. As I said, we will never ask for money, because I really don't want people paying to see the universe they belong to. But still, if you want to contribute, keeping this window of the universe open, just visit virtualtelescope.eu/donate and give your contribution. Thank you very much, my friends. I wish you the very best. I wish you a wonderful day, night, I don't know what, depending where you are on this beautiful world. And keep an eye up there, and keep an eye to the universe with the Virtual Telescope Project. You can also join the Virtual Telescope Project page on Facebook. That's all, my friend. I want to thank the technological partners of the Virtual Telescope Project, Software Bisq, C-Web and Telescope Live, and all of you for joining and making this live feed such a wonderful experience for me to run. Thank you so much. Take care and keep looking up, my friends. Gianluca Massi, Virtual Telescope Project, Rome, Italy.